Right, I think I've probably talked around for way too long. So let's move on to the next round, and I'm going to hand you over here to my wonderful companion Morgan,
Aw.
and she's basically going to tell you a little bit about her competitor Scar.
All right, so this is for the second Final Four match. So this is a separate match, and we have Scar and Shere Khan, so the Battle of the Wildcats,
Excellent,
which I'm very much looking forward to. And there's a lot to say about Scar. It's from my favorite Disney film, so I'm going to be probably a little biased just because I love him. I don't love him, but I love the film.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so here are my extra facts to help Scar win, and I do have a blog post about Scar. We can kind of do the links below if you guys want to reread what we said about our villains in the final rounds. In the original concept and lyrics of Be Prepared, which is Scar's villain song, they actually had Scar's love interest to be Nala.
Okay.
And I know they're animals, but I'm thinking, wait, Nala's like little cub, and animal pedophilia. So I just, I can't do it. I don't like that. And then now there's online that Simba and Nala are actually cousins, so that makes the Scar and Nala thing even more gross.
We're getting into coachman territory here, I think.
I know, and I'm just like, okay, moving on. But I figured, well, okay, that's something to include, because I actually saw the sketches for Be Prepared, and he was after Nala when she grew up, of course, and she didn't return his advances, and she was kicked out of the Pride Lands.
Blimey.
Yeah, but they figured, they go, wait, that might count for, sexual harassment. So Disney changed that.
Probably a good move on their part.
Probably a good move on that. Scar has proven that although he always says, he lacks brute strength from his gene pool line, I think he holds his own, considering he's probably older when he encounters Simba as an adult, and he still kind of goes claw to claw with him.
Indeed.
I always thought that was weird. I'm like, the one time he chooses to fight is at the end, and he's actually decent. But yet, I think he chooses not to fight. He chooses to act weak, and he's crafty, and he'd rather, use twisted, intelligent words to make his hyena minions do what he wants. And he promises things, and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll do that. But I don't know if he always carries out on the promises. And he definitely has an intense bark.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
In my opinion. Bark, growl, whatever you want to say. In the second film, Simba's Pride, which is the sequel to Lion King, Scar is not alive. He has long since passed. But his legacy, his very short and cruel reign, and then his promises basically created this whole villain film called The Outsiders. And the Outsiders' job in the film is to raise up little Kovu to be a Scar clone to kill Simba.
Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, wow, your ghost is pretty powerful for over a decade later. You're brainwashing this little cub to be the next you, and you don't even know this guy. I just think that's really harsh, personally. And I don't know if anybody knows, but Lion King is loosely based on Hamlet from Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. Yeah. And Simba's Pride is based on Romeo and Juliet, because the two clans hate each other, and then they fall in love.
Okay. Yeah, I did hear there were Shakespeare connections with the Lion King series and everything, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and at first for a long time, Disney denied that it was from Hamlet, but because they said Lion King was their first original film.
Okay.
But I think later they went back and kind of said, well, yeah, it's kind of based on Hamlet, so I'm just like...
Yeah, true, but I think you could argue that no film is entirely original. It's always based on something, so I don't think we can blame him too much for that, to be perfectly honest.
And then, this one, but I always like this fact. And this we talk about voice actors a lot, and this one I think is just awesome. The voice actor for Scar is Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing that he lost his voice in the song when he yells, "You won't get a sniff without me!" And then his voice is gone for 2-3 weeks?
Okay, yeah, I heard something about that. And it was replaced by...
Jim Cummings.
Yeah, Jim Cummings. He's the go-to guy when you want a really cool singing voice.
He's done other non-Disney cartoons too, and he's just incredible. I couldn't pinpoint his voice. He's that diverse.
I think I could actually just about pick out where his voice changes from Jeremy Irons to
I
Jim
can
Cummings.
too, barely. Yeah,
but they're just so similar to each other. It's just that's actually a talent if you can actually continue doing have another voice actor, but make him sound exactly like the original voice actor. That really just shows how talented the voice actor Jim Cummings is, and he's very underrated. I don't think he gets much credit for the stuff he can do voice wise.
No, he's been doing Disney stuff since the 70s.
Exactly, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I think Winnie the Pooh was one of his first roles. But I mean, for Jeremy Irons personally, and I think that says a lot about Scar's character too. For your voice actor to be willing to do that is pretty awesome, and he just kept on going. Also, Mr. Irons was the first voice actor to do the voice and the song for the Disney villain. Usually they have two separate people do the voice and the song. So he was the first Disney person to do that. And I love this fact. Malcolm McDowell and Tim Curry were both considered for Scar. I love Tim Curry.
That would have been actually pretty cool, to be fair, actually.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And then plus, of course, my dad's thing when he saw Lion King the first time with me when I was a little girl, he's like, oh my gosh, he killed Darth Vader. Because, I mean, you killed James Earl Jones.
He did, yeah. That totally passed me by when I first saw it, but years later, I was like, oh my god, he did what Luke Skywalker couldn't do.
And James Earl Jones, he's so funny. I've heard him in interviews quite often, and he's like, I like going out with random people because I always got Lion King money coming in.
Excellent. That's all good.
I already talked about in my main video, how he is based off Scar. It's based on Hitler and Claudius from Hamlet. He also was inspired by, you're going to love this, he's inspired by Shere Khan.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'm a clone, but I might have some upgrades. Prince John.
Yep.
Okay. Jafar. And then Ramses II, the great Egyptian pharaoh.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, which I'm like, I don't quite see that, but I like Egyptology, so I was like, oh, that's really awesome.
Maybe something in the face, I guess, because the face kind of does look a bit, dare I say, look a bit Egyptian pharaoh.
Kind of chiseled.
Yeah.
Like back in the day. He is the third greatest Disney villain on Ultimate Disney, and of course he was first on Watch Mojo's Top 10 Animated Disney Villains in the first list. There's two separate lists. Yeah. Let you know on that, guys. Now, you seem to like Disney deaths, I've noticed.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got some interesting alternate Scar deaths for you.
Ooh, I've heard about these, but...
I'm not sure if that'll... Yeah. I'm not sure if this will make, Scar seem more bad, but I thought they were pretty interesting. In the original draft for Lion King, Scar was going to be burned alive after Simba hauled him off the ledge.
Okay.
But Scar was going to be laughing the whole time because he lost his sanity.
Yikes.
Yeah. This end was cut because it was too dark for a Disney film.
And that's really saying something.
Yeah. So I was kind of like... And I think throwing him off and letting him burn, because the flames engulf him anyway, that would have been too bad. I guess him laughing about it.
Yeah, I can see why they changed that.
Yeah. And then also they, in Simba's Pride, they also talk about how Scar was, burned in the fire. And I think Kovu goes to the spot and kind of sees like where the flames had burned it and stuff. But we all know that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And the very, very final one that they were going to do at the last minute, they changed it. Other than, being killed by there's going to be the killing of the hyenas for revenge. That was based on a draft that they scrapped from Beauty and the Beast. They're going to have Gaston eaten alive by wolves.
Oh, right. Okay. I think I heard something like that, actually.
Yeah, so, that's for our lovely publisher there, a little Beauty and the Beast fact. But, so, you got your Beauty and the Beast gruesome ending for Gaston and just in Lion King.
Nice.
I'll get just a few more, and then we will see about Shere Khan.
Go for it.
First Disney villain to be biologically related to the main protagonist, because the others are, like, step-related.
Yeah.
Scar is also one of the few villains in Kingdom Hearts that doesn't use Heartless minions. He just attacks Sora, Donald, and Goofy on his own, so he doesn't have minions.
Interesting.
And then I really like this reference again because I love Shakespeare. When he was going to murder Mufasa, instead of "Long live the king," he was going to say "Good night, sweet prince."
Ah, that would have been pretty cool, actually.
I wish they would have done that, but I don't think the kids would have gotten it.
Yeah, and to be fair, Mufasa was a king, so I suppose calling him a prince probably wouldn't have worked in context.
Yeah, and then what they were going to do at the very end, after Mufasa was killed, he was going to chase Simba out of the Pride Lands himself and yell "Long live the king" at Simba.
I see. Okay. And
I was like, that's pretty cool. I wish they would have done that, personally. And then Scar was going to have a python as his henchman instead of the hyenas, but then they said the snake has kind of been overplayed. And then Disney went back and goes, oh, wait, Shere Khan and Prince John both have snake minions, and they're both cats.
Yeah.
So at the last second, they changed it to hyenas. Okay. And that's Scar.
Yeah. One of the things I actually quite like about Scar, and as you know, I haven't seen the film Hercules, but I know that he does actually appear in Hercules as a rug. And
yes.
And there's actually that line from, is it Zazu that says, I'd always imagine he'd make a very good rug, something like that?
Yeah, because he's dirty. You can take him out and beat him.
Yeah, that was a really good mix actually, which was cool. I know Disney tends to like do a lot of the sort of interconnecting things for like all their films anyway to get them all. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool too. I did read a debate online though about that exact same topic about the Hercules rug being Scar. And they're like, no, it's the Neiman lion from Greek mythology. No, it's Scar. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, I like to think it's Scar, and it's probably some sort of punishment for him for all the crimes that he did in like the real world. But that's just me.
That makes sense because that film was 3 years after The Lion King. So.